Hello, everybody. Welcome to a new episode of the Rat Lab podcast. And boy, do we have some things to talk about today. It's quite a bit that's been happening over the past couple of weeks lately. Um, and you might notice the results of things that have happened lately and the fact that I might be talking a little funny throughout this podcast. And I might also be taking some more pauses than usual and stuff like that. Now, thankfully, I do have some tea on me, some nice warm tea in a very nice shiny new rat themed mug that I have on me right now. I'm not sure if you'll be able to hear it over the microphone. Let's see. Mm, no, not quite. Not quite. I'm not very good at the whole slurping noise from a mug thing. Not very good at it. Oh well. But yeah, there's been a lot that's happened, especially a lot that's happened ever since the last podcast episode. Which, if I double check my channel right now, the last podcast episode was 1 month ago. It was my 2023 year in review episode. Right. A good bit has happened since then. I did my Steam Awards reaction. I did the Last Call BBS review. And, well, pretty much around that time, things have been a little iffy. And we'll stop beating around the bush. I had more than one seizure. I had two seizures over the course of 2 weeks, and then now I've had an additional one recently. Which those of you who have been around for a while may already be aware. But for those of you who haven't been around for as long as some other potential viewers have been, surprise, I'm epileptic. Have been ever since I was a little kid. Which means that certain things I may have seizures. For me, the triggers seem to be. I'm not like photosensitive in terms of my in terms of what triggers the epilepsy, what triggers the seizure. Right, I'm not photosensitive. I can stare at flashing lights all I want. Nothing will happen to me. Um, it's more like, as far as we've been able to tell, it's like a sleep deprivation sort of thing. Assuming I'm not on the medication, it's almost like a sleep deprivation thing. That's the only thing we're being able to guess as far as a specific trigger goes. Even then, that one's still a little uncertain. But yeah, a lot has happened recently. I'm currently in the process of changing my medication, in fact. Um, because it seems like the medicine that I've had since I was a small child isn't quite working the way it should anymore. Now you could chalk that up to my body having gotten used to it or resistant to it, right? Or maybe it's just that it's just not that effective and there's new stuff out there that's better now, right? Either way, I'm in the process of swapping medicines right now, going through all that, and that's a whole multi-week process and all this, and it's the seizures and all that. They've screwed up my my college quarter for me as well. All of that has become extremely confused trying to deal with, because I have three classes, right? Three classes, two of which are supposed to be in person. And so now I'm having these back and forths with my professors, being like, hey, what, can you work with me here? Can you help me do these things remotely or something? Because I really don't want to just drop these classes and lose almost an entire quarter that I paid for. Right? It's a whole process. Been dealing with that on top of appointments, right? So I had an appointment with my doctor, my epilepsy doctor, who, my neurologist, who does in fact specialize in epilepsy itself, right? Um, Been chatting with her. I just yesterday I got a blood draw because swapping medications. They need to make sure it's not doing something weird with my blood or anything like that. In March, I'm getting an EEG done on myself, where it's they have to scan. They basically hook up my brain to this device, this machine, and it just scans my brain activity for like 2 hours. I have to do that in March, and then soon after, I have to do a follow up with my neurologist about all the results that came in after that. Assuming the medication is still working throughout all of this, right? So we get to see how well the medication's doing after a full month. So there's that. Um, I got to do the EEG, which here's the best part about the EEG, because of what we believe my epilepsy to be. I have to go into the EEG sleep deprived. They told me I actively need to go in sleep deprived. I'm not allowed to have more than 4 hours of sleep going into the EEG. I have to I have to be awake. I have to be awake till like midnight. Try to get sleep within that 4 hour period till 4 a.m. and then just be awake until 4 a.m. Until fucking noon. Yeah, until like midday, because that's around the time it happens. And then I somehow have to still be awake by the time that I'm in the building and doing the EEG. I have to manage to still be awake during all of that. Thankfully, I can still at least take the medication, right? So I'm not actively putting a risk on myself during that whole thing. But yeah, it's a whole complicated thing, and it has also made the process of streaming and recording videos much more complicated. I'm recording this podcast episode now because my tongue is finally in a state where I feel like I can at least talk for about an hour and not be totally incomprehensible, if that makes sense, right? Because that's the other fun thing about seizures. A lot of times when you have them, you end up biting down on your tongue pretty hard. And for me, pretty much every single time it's happened, I've bitten down on the right side of my tongue decently hard. And considering I've had 3 seizures now, it means that my tongue has been needing some time to heal. So yeah, it's been something. It means I've had difficulty eating, I've had difficulty speaking, difficulty drinking things in general. Like cold drinks just don't really sit well with me. That's why I've got this tea right here. I'm holding it up to the microphone as if you can see it when I know you can't, but I have this, the mug of tea here. It's like it's warm. That's why it works. It's warm. It's nice and warm bit of tea. Mm. Oh yeah. That's good. That feels good. Yeah. That stuff feels good on the tongue. But yeah, it's why my activity online in terms of streaming and video stuff has been very difficult lately. Very sporadic, not difficult, sporadic lately. Just because, I'll start getting the feeling that, hey, I'm ready to get back into the swing of things and all that. I'm ready to get back into my streaming routine, or ready to, start recording a video or something. And what do you know? I had another seizure, and now I'm stuck laying around doing nothing again while I'm trying to recover because I can barely talk. And so, oh joy. Oh joy, oh joy. Um so yeah, that's how long is it? It's been 10 minutes now. That's pretty much the elephant in the room addressed, right? That's the big elephant in the room addressed. Now I am getting back into streaming as I'm as I'm recording this. Right, I'm getting back into streaming. I've streamed twice in a row. Not in a row? No. No, not in a row, because I think I did Monday, but then I didn't do Tuesday because Tuesday was just really busy. Yeah, no, Tuesday was really busy because I was in the city that night. I got back home pretty late, so I didn't stream that day. I streamed Wednesday, and then today's Thursday, so yeah. So I'll probably be streaming later tonight as well as I'm recording this. This may or may not get uploaded the same day it's recorded. I'm not sure. Depends on how long this whole thing takes and whether this audio is even good to begin with. So we'll see. We will see. But yeah, as I'm recording this, the thing I'm doing right now as far as streams go is the Steam Next Fest. Conveniently, the Steam Next Fest has started, and that means it's all the demos, all the game demos coming out lately. Tried a few on stream, and that's usually what I do when the Steam Next Fest starts. I take the next few days and I just start. Sorry about that. I take the next few days and I just start streaming myself playing all these demos, and just seeing, what they look like, seeing how the games play and all that. The games that I've tried as of right now have been things like the first thing I tried was Tribes 3 Rivals, the new Tribes game by a different developer that's not Hi-Rez. And well, the gameplay itself seems fine, right? It seems pretty standard Tribes, right? Although on the technical side, OBS crashed when I tried launching it. Like, I clicked launch, I clicked play, it showed me a little thing. I saw a little thing that was like, it's trying to run like a first time startup thing, an Unreal Engine package or whatever. It never finished installing that Unreal Engine package, and OBS just stopped responding. Crashed. So that was the very beginning of my Steam Next Fest stream. Not the best start. Not the best start, both for the stream as well as, not the best start for the game itself. To just crash the streaming software the moment I try to play it. But once I did get the game going, I had to verify integrity of game files, yada yada, that, the standard affair. But once it got going, then it played, and it was playing fine. Definitely rough around the edges, but I can definitely see it hanging around for a while, if anything, just because it's the only new Tribes game that we've had in a long time. I don't know if there's been another Tribes game since Tribes Ascend, the high-res one. I don't know if there's been another one since then, and Tribes Ascend was in 2012. So, it's been a hot minute since there's been a Tribes game. So there's that too. As far as the other stuff that I haven't played yet, there's Stormgate. I still want to try out Stormgate. I'm debating as to whether or not I want to do Stormgate off stream or on stream, just because it's an RTS, and for some reason, for our RTSs and me, I feel like I handle RTSs better when I'm on my own, like listening to a podcast or something. Not even listening to a podcast, just watching anything else on my second monitor. I feel like I handle RTSs better when I'm doing that. People seem to be. I did check discussions. People seem to be complaining about like the time to kill or something being really quick. Like it seems to be a very rushy game, like Zerg Rush style stuff, which makes sense. The developers are ex-Blizzard devs, not just ex-Blizzard devs, ex-StarCraft devs, StarCraft 2 devs, right? So it would make sense that the next RTS they make ends up having some of that StarCraft DNA in it, right? That would certainly make sense. But I'll have to experience it for myself, see what I think of it. I'm also interested just because I have applied to work for them multiple times now as a developer. Because you guys should know me at this point. I'm actively, aspiring to be a developer, right? Be a professional. that whole thing. And Stormgate, Frostgiant, the developers, they were looking for developers, right? So I was like, yeah, sure, I'll apply. I did get the attention of one of the leads. One of the leads, one of the founders. I did get his attention, and I got into some personal communication with him. Although it would appear that, unfortunately, Frostgiant is not looking for, lower level, like junior, associate level developers right now. Unfortunately, they are not looking for that. They are looking for almost exclusively senior and lead developers right now. So that kind of leaves me in the dirt in terms of getting to work with them, unless they're looking for like a web developer or a video editor or something. I could certainly do video editing for them. Could certainly do that, but ultimate goal is to actually work on a game. Speaking of RTSs, I still have yet to try out Homeworld 3, which is very interesting because it's Homeworld. I mean, that alone makes it extremely interesting. It's just the fact that Homeworld is back of all the games. Now, apparently it got delayed to May 13th, but I'd say that's fine. It was supposed to come out in like March, I think, so it's only been delayed by a few extra months, which I think will be fine. And if anything, they probably delayed it to work on things that they got feedback from the Next Fest. So good for them. Good for them. Good for what are the developers? Blackbird. Good for Blackbird. Delaying the game just a bit to try and work on things. Really hammer out the kinks and get a good game going. A good, worthy successor to the Homeworld name, which has been dormant for a very, very long time. As for what Homeworld is, for those of you who are unaware, Homeworld is, well, an RTS, right? The gimmick being it is a fully 3D space RTS. So your base is a space station, or, well, not a space station, but a giant spaceship that builds and deploys other spaceships, right? Your goal is, of course, to destroy the enemy space. Destroy the enemy spaceship. That's, of course, your goal, right? And the gimmick is, being in space, it takes place, it is entirely 3D. Both up, down, left, right, entirely 3D. So there's a whole lot of weird stuff you can do just through the fact that your ships can move on a vertical plane now. There's a whole ton of stuff you can do there, so I have to wonder how the developers of Homeworld 3 have decided to polish that. What they decided to keep the same, and what they decided to change, polish, etc., that sort of thing. And how many quality of life changes did they make, and how many Homeworld purists are going to be super upset that the game has quality of life changes that are just normal and sensible? Because there's always that crowd. There's always that crowd, every single time. Anytime a game like Homeworld, one of these older franchises, is revived with a brand new game, there's always that crowd of purists that are like, why isn't this the exact same thing from 20 years ago, right? Because they're just thinking about the nostalgia for what they played when they were, if not a kid, then just younger, right? There's always that crowd when it's like, come on, man. We need some quality of life options. Look, some of those key bindings were bad. I'm sorry. You just gotta face the truth. Some of those key bindings sucked. Some of those camera controls sucked, right? Some of them just sucked. And they needed to be changed. You just gotta get over it. Especially for me, the camera control thing, that's a personal thing with me. I'm I'm a bit of a sucker for click and drag camera controls, which I understand for a fully 3D game like Homeworld is much more difficult to do, but it's something I enjoy very much. I play a lot of Hearts of Iron 4, like a lot, like a lot. I have over 1,600 hours in Hearts of Iron 4. um, over 1,600. Um, and so yeah, I really like the camera control in Hearts of Iron. It makes it it's it makes it very easy to just play. I don't know. It just feels very easy to play when the camera has a very easy just middle, just like hold down middle click, just like hold down middle click and then just drag it, and then you're good. It's very I really appreciate that stuff. I really appreciate those kinds of controls. The controls that make it easier for me to play something like an RTS with one hand. I just love it. I could not tell you why. It just feels good. It just feels good to be able to do most things in an RTS with just the mouse. I don't know, it maybe it's because it feels more tactical or feels more computery or something. I don't know. I don't know. Something about clicking on stuff, clicking and dragging and stuff like that. I don't know. Something about it just feels good. It just feels better. Could not tell you why necessarily. Could not tell you why I feel that way. I just do. But yeah, that's the kind of thing I'm looking for in any of these strategy games, which again I understand harder to do with Homeworld because fully 3D, yada yada. Now, as for actually speaking of games that I have been playing lately, and something that I've been getting really into lately is I've been getting really into card games. I'll say it, card games. However, it's more like I've always been into card games, but card games are specifically what I've been playing a lot of lately. Like there's Hearts of Iron 4, which is just kind of there all the time. But then like aside from the demos, the games that I've been playing the most is, again, aside from the demos and like a little bit of Euro Truck Simulator of all things, is Yu-Gi-Oh! Master Duel and Marvel Snap. Now, why am I playing those a lot? I really like card games, and I really like automated card games. That's about it. I don't know what else to tell you there. Taking another sip of my drink. Yeah, I don't really know what else to tell you there. I already really enjoy card games. And like I play as far as physical card games go, I played the Digimon card game. I've made this very clear before. I played the Digimon card game physically. And that one's really good. I enjoy that one a lot. I gotta oh shit, I dropped a few things. But as far as digital goes, unfortunately, there is no Digimon there's no video game Digimon card game out right now, unfortunately. Although there is a certain YouTuber who is working on releasing an automated Digimon sim soon, and oh boy, I will be streaming that a lot when it comes out. Oh boy. But for now, I've been playing a lot of, so like I said, Master Duel, and the reason I play Master Duel over, say, physical Yu-Gi-Oh! Is simply because look, I played enough of Master Duel. I have 423 hours of Master Duel, right? I have come to the conclusion I do not want to have to try and keep track of all the stuff that you have to on a Yu-Gi-Oh board physically, because that means there's like when you have to do it physically, when you have to do it manually, there's a lot more you have to keep track of, and it's very difficult to try and keep track of that stuff as far as my brain is concerned. My brain is short circuit if I have to keep track of all that. It's much easier for me to keep track of things when stuff's been automated by the game, you know? Or I don't have to think about every single little detail. Or not even that, but just keep track of, what's being affected by what and what effects activate when, Whereas Master Duel, you'll get notified every single time. The game will temporarily pause every single time one of your cards can be activated, right? That's very convenient. Very convenient. It helps a lot. Helps a lot. And then Marvel Snap. Marvel Snap is surprisingly very well made. It's a very good card game. Most of the time when there's like a Marvel mobile game thing that's out there now, because of course Marvel Snap is on phones, right? It seems pretty much built for phones primarily. It just happens to have a PC client alongside it. For a game that's built mostly as like a mobile game, it's surprisingly good and in depth and like again actually well made. It doesn't feel like a shameless cash grab, right? That right there is the bit down tongue. That's the tongue injury talking right there. If you hear that in the word cash grab, shameless cash grab, the shameless, right? That's the tongue injury talking right there. I still have a little bit of a lisp, from having accidentally bitten down on my tongue during a seizure. Oops. So yeah, but either way, Marble Snap again, very good, very good. It's very short. Games are 6 turns, maybe 7 if a certain location appears in the middle of a game, but that's about it. And in fact, there's another location that ends the game at turn 4 instead of turn 6. So it can go by even faster. So yeah, it's cool. I like it. It's cool both as a card game that I can just sort of sit and play through. Just keep rolling through matches just like that. Just keep going and going and going. As well as me being a comic book nerd who knows a good bit about Marvel. Both from my own explorations of the Marvel Universe, as well as things that I picked up from my dad, who is also a massive comic book nerd. So there's a lot of stuff that happens, a lot of characters and things in the game. Because the main appeal as far as aesthetics in the game is seeing, all your cards are Marvel characters, and then there's all these locations from the Marvel multiverse and all this stuff, right? And me and my dad, we're those people that are like, hey, I know that thing, right? Like, I can just name a random location that shows up to my dad, and he'll be like, oh yeah, from that thing, right? He'll be able to name exactly what continuity it's from. He'll be able to name the continuity it's from. He'll be able to probably name like where. Probably you'll be able to name where, like what issues it started with, right? Like what comic run it first appeared in or something. Because he just has that kind of brain, He just has that kind of brain. But yeah, it's a very very cool thing. It's very cool, and it's just very fun, very fun. What other card game stuff? Oh yeah, I've also been playing the automated fan-made sims for Lorcana and the One Piece TCG. For those who aren't aware, Lorcana is Disney's TCG, or at least Disney's attempt at a TCG. It's being manufactured and published and all that by Ravensburger, who I believe have done things like this before. The problem is Ravensburger, whether intentionally or not, has severely underestimated the demand for Lorcana. And so basically everywhere has had shortages for a while. Lorcana hasn't even... It's only been, half a year since Lorcana started, I think? maybe, and we're only just now we've only just now gotten to set 2. Just set number 2. Course set number 2. Yeah. So, and Ravensburger's just, okay, wow, there's some kids just yelling their heads off outside. Hopefully the microphone did not pick that up. Regardless, yeah, Lorcana, it's very interesting, and honestly, with a lot of it, it feels very Disney. It feels very much like what a Disney TCG would be, and I think a lot of that comes down to the fact that, it comes down to the fact that you don't fight the other player, if that makes sense. And, like, neither player has health. You don't play as, you don't have like a health meter or life points or anything like that. Your goal is to acquire 20 lore before your opponent does. And the way you do that is you put your character cards down on the field, and you have to basically the Lorcana equivalent of tapping them, like in Magic. If you just tap them, then they go questing, and when they go questing, they generate X amount of lore. And so your goal is to get 20 lore before your opponent, and then you win. And then, you have cards that interact with other cards. You can challenge and fight opponents' cards and, get rid of them so they're not able to send them questing to gain more lore and all that stuff. But overall, you're not, like, directly attacking your opponent, It's very Disney in that way, because it comes off as a very, very Disney-fied, family-friendly-esque TCG. That sort of thing. Very, very Disney-fied. And then on the flip side is the One Piece TCG, which I started playing again just because I was curious about it as a Digimon player, because the Digimon and One Piece TCGs are both made by Bandai, so Bandai kind of competing with themselves there. And also, the One Piece TCG's only been out for like a year, and they already have a fan-made automated simulator. Digimon's had to go through like 2 of them now. Like, we're on, I'm pretty sure, our 3rd one at this point, as far as automated simulators go. We're on like our 3rd one, and I hope this one sticks, because it looks really good. But the One Piece TCG, it's interesting. It's certainly interesting. I don't entirely, get the mechanics of it. I get the mechanics, but not necessarily the strategies behind it. And I think part of that comes from the fact that, 1, I'm just inexperienced in it, and 2, I'm not much of a One Piece guy to begin with. Or at least I haven't been. I've actually, one thing that I've started doing since, all the seizure stuff happened, and which has left me, just sitting around doing nothing for a good while. It has given me time to sit around and watch stuff, and one thing I've been watching is One Piece. I've just been watching the One Piece dub on the English dub on Crunchyroll for a while, and I'm where now? I'm on episode 309. Episode 309, where Luffy's gotten up to like gear 2 now. Right? 309 over the course of roughly like a bit less than a month out of like 1,000 something. So, still got a ways to go. So, then I look back at the One Piece TCG, and it's like, I'm beginning to understand things a bit more, but also there's still a lot of cards that I just don't get. Still a lot of them that I just don't get because I just haven't reached those arcs yet or anything like that. So, there's also that. But no harm in that, I don't think. Oh my, those kids are still yelling their little heads off. What time is it? Is school just letting out? Oh yeah, it's Thursday. I guess school might be letting out. Yeah, school might be letting out for some of the kids, or I guess like the after school stuff. is happening now, or the kids are leaving from the after school stuff, which might explain it. I live like right next to an elementary school, unfortunately, which means every time the afternoon comes around on a weekday, it's just kids yelling their little heads off every single afternoon. Kids are just yelling and yelling and yelling and causing a bunch of noise, and I'm sounding like the Grinch right now, but still, it's annoying. I just want to be able to think for a little bit in the afternoon, but no. And kids gotta be super loud when they're going home. Whatever. But yeah, anyway. I think you get the idea of what I've been up to lately. I think you understand now. How long have I been going? I've been going for about 35 minutes. Wow. It certainly doesn't feel like it's been 35 minutes, but I think this might be a mini-sode for the podcast, just because, again, the tongue injury thing is still there. It's still affecting me. The more I talk, the more saliva I build up, and the more I have to constantly just swallow it back down and pause and all this stuff. So it just gets annoying to talk after a while. So I think I will pause for now and turn this into a little like mini-sode of the podcast, right? Because I just wanted to get something recorded and made. So, I could upload a video within a relatively normal time frame and be like, hey, I'm not dead, right? That kind of thing. So, I think that's what this will be. I hope you enjoyed listening to me ramble on about epilepsy and card games and all this other stuff. I hope you all enjoyed, and I hope anyone who's new, I hope you subscribe, and anyone else, I hope you all just stick around for whenever I upload or stream next. And that will be it for now. I will see you all later. And lastly, a thank you shout out to Mike Uniturtle. Thank you for the $5.